Great.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, hello, everybody. This is your host, Dr. Angelika Christie. And today I have the pleasure and the honor to interview an amazing lady. And her name is Trish Daphne. Maybe you can correct me because I'm German and I have some problems with English names sometimes, or with foreign names. And here is what I want to start with when it comes to her. Here is what she says, and this is one of the most powerful sentences I have read, and it had such a powerful effect on me. And let's see what it does for you. Voices of hope and healing are being raised all over the globe right now. Yet many will fall short, not because the words are wrong, but the frequencies of possibility are non-existent in the quality of those voices. True manifesting power rests in the sound quality of your voice. Are you willing to express this innate power that you have? So I don't know what it did for you, but I again got major goosebumps. So I just want to introduce Trish. Trish is a sound energy expert, an author, an international speaker, and best-selling sound true crystal bowl recording artist. She is recognized as an authority in the field of harmonic and vocal sound healing. For over 3 decades, she has pioneered and refined her highly effective sound energy healing and toning techniques called sound shifting and crystal sound energy, a practitioner training program. Trish's method of whole body transformation inspires individuals to use their own voice to create well-being in their lives and teaches simple techniques and attitudes that put health, wealth, and wholeness within anyone's grasp. She is a repeat presenter offering prescriptive sound strategies with the University of Arizona Integrative Medicine Fellows and medical students, as well as the lead sound practitioner at the world-renowned Canyon Ranch Wellness Resort in Tucson, Arizona, where she lives with her husband of 25 years. Oh my goodness, how extraordinary. Thank you and welcome. Trish, it is such an honor for me to have you here.
Likewise, thank you. It's a joy to be with you in this platform and to share this conversation with you and other women who will be joining us in real time and in future dates.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have a question because this 2 sentences or 3 sentences that I started with, they are so powerful. How did that come to you? When did you write it? Can you just share a little bit about that?
Well, my work has, I've been doing this work for, I would say, 25, 30 years. As an actor, I started to really explore what was happening with the voice. Of course, we needed that, was our vessel, our instrument. But then I became very ill and was told I had a short time to live and to get my affairs in order. And I happened upon a singing bowl, a little Tibetan singing bowl. I bought that bowl, brought it home and played it every day. And within 4 months, I was completely cured. And from stage 4 liver disease and the hep C. That created a lot of confusion for my doctor. He thought, okay, this is just an accident. This will come back. Don't be excited. So I just kept on playing my bowl and making sound. And 2 years out, they again no return of the virus. So I started doing some serious research about what might have happened, and the key piece that I happened upon was the quality of my voice and how when I was vocalizing every day, how it produced, what it produced in my body, what it did for me. So that came about through through research in Paris. A gentleman by the name of Fabien Maman. He did research on the impact of sound on the cell and started to explore ways instruments may impact the body and the cells of the body. And he started his project with very little results. He didn't see anything happen until he introduced his voice. And the moment he started to give voice, just tone, you could see the cells started to vibrate. And so then he applied it further to women who had cancer, the cysts, and had them tone daily for a half hour a day, the simple sound of like that. They did, and all but one finished the research project. The one left mid project and went in to have a surgical procedure. What they found when she had her procedure is that this cancer cells started to decompose. They were already in the process. With the women who completed the research project, their cancers, cysts, and tumors had all disappeared.
That's extraordinary, which really means that the cancer cells self-destructed. They could not take the frequency.
That's exactly what he surmised. He realized that the voice is a carrier wave of consciousness. And as you make sound with your voice, you are restoring the natural harmonic to the cell, the natural vitality, the natural vigor to the cell, which is by just being a human being on this planet, we are so bombarded with stress. Stresses that we think we've managed and ways that we think we are adapting and getting on just fine. And that's what spawned that comment, is that we believe we are doing, speaking words of sound, healing and caring and loving. However, the voice is so changed by the trauma people have experienced, by the stress that people carry, by ways that we deny how we feel because we are surviving, we are just carrying on, that it influences the voice, the vocal folds, the vocal cords, the neck, and the vocal folds. So what comes out is really less full and effulgent and vibrationally rich. So it's not landing in the same way that we hope it to. So when I say I love you, that could just be the a tip tap of the words coming out. But when I say it from my full being, as I've learned to say it, I love you.
Yes,
it is felt
totally different. Yeah,
very different.
Yes, it lands differently. It carries a different message. It's
absolutely does. In fact, that is why so many people feel they can't trust what they hear or what somebody says, because in reality, they're not connected to what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing about so many of us. I look at politicians, thought leaders who are doing good work in the world, sharing, but the quality of their voice is only landing a small portion of harmonic information. The body can't absorb in the audience a sound and a voice that is only partially connected to its source. Mm-hmm. So it goes into the intellect and it sits there. It doesn't change the dynamic in the body. And that's what we have in our voices, is the power to truly impact change at a cellular level.
At the cellular level, yeah. So it cannot just stay up here intellectually. It has to be integrated into your heart, into your soul, into your intent as well, right? I mean, your heart, your soul, your mind, all of this need to be.
That's that authentic
alignment.
Talk about that authentic voice. That's exactly what that is. And we often wonder, how do I get there? What do I do? And they think it's desiring to be more real. Well, that's real isn't so much the issue as full. And when you are using the whole voice, you are able to impact not only the world around you, but you change the dynamics in your own flow of energy through your own body.
Well, this is fascinating.
It is.
Because there is so much, for example, right now, because of COVID, so many businesses have been gone online. And of course, being in front of a crowd of people, you have your energy, your presence energy, because you're there live. Now, like we are doing it through an electronic device like Zoom. Excuse me. Your presence is there, but your voice, I believe, is so much more important because it's more direct. You're right there. And if your voice is not in alignment with what you say or with who you are, it shows up immediately, I would say.
And the interesting thing is when we are not connected to that sound that comes from the depth of our being, people know that we're not telling the truth because we aren't. We're not connected to what we feel. So if I want to move mountains, I have to take the risk of being much more authentic with the sound of who I am. And because I know that I'm not tapping into the fullness of who I am. Yeah. And it's now those are just words to most of us, because what does that feel like? What does that mean? Well, I would suggest you just sigh out loud. Ah. And you hear that sound of your voice all the way to the end of your breath. You will no doubt feel that sound of your voice down into your tailbone. Yeah. Just from a simple,
right? It actually vibrates. You feel it physically.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the fullness that I'm speaking of, where your voice really travels from the depth of your being. So it's not just an idea that you're projecting. It's not just a hope for. It is something that you stand for. It's something that you resonate with. It's something that resonates within you. And it is a revelatory expression of who you are and who you know yourself to be. So I often see women who, they're powerful women, who comment about how in a crowd, they're not heard. And oftentimes it's because their voices have been so swallowed and by them. I mean, they have literally stifled, stuffed, swallowed their own voices. So when they are doing their teaching, they're in one mode, but when they're in their life engaged, just regular life, their voices change. And they are not allowing themselves, they're really not hearing themselves, is what it really is an indicator of. It's really, if I think I'm not being heard, my question these days is, what part of me am I not listening to? Or how is it that I'm not hearing myself?
Write this down if you hear this right now. That was such a golden nugget right now. What am I not?
What am I not listening for? What in me am I not hearing? What about me am I not receiving? And it's all comes back to us. And then the other piece that we are, once we start to recognize the quality of the sound that comes through us, is the nature of our language. And our language and our words are how we organize the atomic particles in a room. We really literally, I mean, a room is filled with molecules moving around. These are all unstable molecules. The moment we speak, we are then creating and arranging a vortex of energy that is what we would call intention. So we are launching constantly from our language, how we perceive the world we live in and what we wish to create. And I hear this, and this was an early indication, or not indication, it was an early understanding about how sound was influencing my body as I was healing, because I would sit in these medical, doctor's offices and the waiting rooms, and I'd hear people talking about their diseases. I have this, I have that, I'm in pain, I can't move. So the body is quite literally receiving that
in this information. Yes.
As direction, because we've arranged those particles and we are giving it direction. And I used to, I would marvel at it, because whenever I would inject the chemotherapy in my leg and thigh, and I would say out loud, what my body can use for well-being will be used immediately. And what my body doesn't want will be eliminated immediately. I had no idea what would happen. I just knew that I needed to say that out loud.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the results happened within 4 months.
Incredible. And, I mean, even in religious, we are not talking about religion here, but the word and putting your tonality, your sound, intention, all of this is amplified when you really sound it, and when you are conscious of it and do it with this knowledge of I am.
Yes.
This.
Yeah. I love what you're saying, because that conscious awareness of I am is a spiritual law.
Yeah.
It's not religious, but it is spiritual.
Right. Yes.
And it's that the capacity to understand how we are a part of the energy that moves through time and space, that we are a reflection of the energy on Mother Earth, on the planet, that we are seeing ourselves everywhere we look. Are we embracing it? Are we seeing clearly? Are we judging it? Are we fearful of it? Are we protecting ourselves from it? When in fact, what we want to be doing is witnessing, understanding, receiving the reflection, and ultimately changing ourselves, not the world outside of us. Yes. Very, very different, very, very challenging, because it's all about us.
Yes. It is. It totally is, and that means we cannot blame anybody, right? It's our responsibility. We cannot change anybody. We can only change ourselves.
But what a reflex that is! I still have that reflex. I want to blame my husband for the reason I can't find my glasses.
It is. Yes.
Why? Well, because it's what we do. We like to think that something outside of us is doing something to us.
Something to us, yeah. And we learn it from small on. We learn it when we are kids, because there's always, we want to blame because everybody else is doing it. It's kind of it's a normal. We believe it's a normal behavior, and it's not. And so then we have to unlearn all of this. Once we wake up, it's an awakening process, waking up to yourself and the truth that your life is 100% your own. And
right.
Yes.
Right. And that early influence of institutions and family members and churches and the social network of things, that's what's influencing the sound of our voices. What we are not able to express because we believe or have been told that we should be quiet or behave or don't get angry or don't cry. All of these are structures that are layered in over time that change the neural network in the brain. That is influencing how tight the throat gets. Many people say they carry their stress in their shoulders and in their neck. Well, what that is doing is really representing how tight the jaw is, and how we are holding and controlling and managing. So those, when you start to really look at, if I want to release my neck, and if I want to not have TMJ and have a softer jaw and not have headaches, etc., it's really begin to soften that jaw, breathe out, and sigh out loud. Soften, soften, soften. And that's what the way I work with sound allows us to soften how we operate.
that is so profound. Is there something you can actually demonstrate, or at the end, I will ask you if you can share something with the audience that they can maybe do at home, something that can help them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm very mindful of how naked one feels when we open our voices. It's really the most terrifying for many people, opening their mouths and making sound. Some would rather get a root canal without Novocaine than to make a sound.
And especially women, I believe, because we have been silenced. We have been we are just waking up in the last 100 years, to be heard, except for some women who were forerunners or pioneers in bringing their voice out there. But for women, for so long, we were just not
we were immured. We were the ones that swallowed the story that says we have to behave, and so we gave up being authentic for being good. And the price we have paid, women of our age and even younger women, I'm seeing this happening time and again, who have swallowed a story and are trying to break through that story. And a simple way, you ask about a simple tool, is just opening your voice simply by making the sound of ah. Ah. But if that's too afraid to do, and you have some judgments about the sound of your voice, just sigh like we did. Ah. And keep that voice going all the way to the end of the breath.
And feel the vibration, right? Just focus on how it feels.
Yes. And feel that all the way down. There are many medical things that are happening in the biology, through the biodynamics, when you open your voice, just simply like that, making a sigh or humming even. And we can talk about this on nauseam, but you can really look up the vagus nerve. That's the real reason I got well, is because as I made sound, and I made sound every time I had an out breath and I played my little bowl, I was stimulating what's called vagal tone. And the vagus nerve is right at the base of the sternum, right where the ribs come together, right at the breastplate. When you make sound, you are decreasing inflammation, boosting immune function, lowering blood pressure, releasing all those delicious love hormones in the body, and most importantly, regulating the parasympathetic part of the nervous system, which is the rest and restore part of the nervous system. So when we're feeling anxious and nervous, let's say we have to get up and we have to, announce something or whatever our nervousness is about. Usually people would rather be shot than to have to get up in front of an audience. Just make a sound, a sigh. Ah, like that. Or open tone, or
Yeah, that reminds me of my grandfather, and he lived to be way in his 90s. And as long as I can remember, he was always humming. He was always humming.
Yes.
So maybe it was his recipe. And just now, I've never thought about it like that. But just this moment when you mentioned this, he came to mind, and I said, oh, I know somebody who, in my life, even when I was a child, who I've found, it was always pleasant to be around him, because when you hum, you are not in a bad mood, right? Humming is a positive thing.
Well, and it's regulating that parasympathetic, which is saying rest and restore. I'm okay. Things are going well. And life is good. And you just hum right along. And he was self-correcting. My mother-in-law used to do that. And she'd get so nervous coming to visit. And I don't think she understood why, nor did I at the time. But being around a new family and a baby and everything, so she would hum. All the time she would hum. And I was annoyed by that until I realized that was her body's natural response. And it's something I do all the time now for myself.
it's a self-soothing, right?
Very much,
yes.
very much so. But we don't realize that it impacts the biodynamics so dramatically that you can start to change the way your body is storing stress, which will influence the way your body is relaxing in your jaw and the neck and the headaches. All of that start to soften and ease and go away. Then there are other neurological things that are happening as you make sound. But I think, for your listeners today, I think the best possible sound to do throughout the day is just an open ah. Any pitch, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And don't judge your sound. Just move.
Yes, and you have to take a breath in. So it is, and sometimes we are holding our breath when there is tension. So by releasing it like that,
right,
automatically
it helps us breathe out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exhale. Yeah.
So as it relates to that opening comment, we may want to do good in the world and have a desire to help and serve and heal. We first have to look to ourselves and how available am I to heal myself, to restore myself to balance. Not that I have to be completely whole before I can do or give or be for others. But if I'm not replenishing my well, if I'm not taking care of myself, if I'm not breathing deep into the bowl of my existence, the perineum, I am not able to draw from that well of knowledge, that well of love, and that well of life force itself to be able to make a difference. Keep in mind, the greatest act of love that we offer is our own happiness and our own sense of self, the I am you were referring to. And that is how we heal the world. And it could be a life destiny. I mean, not a life destiny. It is a destiny, but it could be a life journey, getting to that place of acceptance.
It could be your destiny. And there are so many women out there. And I truly believe that women are pillars of a new consciousness. And we need to step out and step forward. But we need somebody like you who can instruct us to, because just having the message and wanting it, but how can we effectively, first of all, heal ourselves and then bring it out with our voice? Because yes, you can write a book, but to voice it is even more powerful. And if you stand behind what you write with your voice, I think that is
and your presence. Having an open voice means that you are present in your being.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of voices that we all know of, a woman I greatly respect who has a voice that is tempered by her past, and that's Hillary Clinton. Now, she is a powerful, wonderful, creative, dynamic woman. And her voice was so tight because her early experiences was, I have to fight to be who I am. So that stridency is what people hear and what people pick up on and recoil from. So it's really understanding how our past has influenced our present and how to soften and move into a wholeness of acceptance of who we are as human beings that changes the quality of your voice. Not that you're going to go to voice class, because that's not where we learn to do that. You learn to do that by looking in the mirror and seeing who you are and falling madly in love.
But it is so very important to remember, and for me, just as you say it, to soften ourselves, because there is so much demand on us all the time. So it is so easy to be in this, not to soften ourselves, but that harsh ourselves. We have to push and we have to do this and and then take the voice.
Yeah, that doesn't leave any room for being, does it?
No.
Pushing and doing, and Yeah, and the world will change when we all drop into being
Yes, and that
who
is
we are.
wonderful way to end this first half here now. And thank you so much. We stay connected. And I just want to say quickly that we will have a second part with Trish, where she's actually using her incredible bowls and her sound therapy to show us, to give a demonstration. So we're looking forward to this, and just stay tuned on my channel and see when this is going to happen. Okay. Bye-bye for now.